Welcome, and thank you for joining me for another Traveler's Notes video. I'm making this video in response to some other videos that I've watched, which suggest that individuation and unity consciousness are not compatible with one another. Now, individuation is a state of being where you're unique from other beings. It is a state where I personally believe you're totally individuated when you're in a group situation and you can make a choice that goes against everybody else's. I did a video recently on groupthink where I explained the different experiments that showed how groupthink works, that after 4 individuals in a group are in agreement, the 5th person, even if they know the answer is wrong, will go with the group, questioning their own sanity and their own conclusions and their own perceptions because they believe that the group is correct and that they are wrong. That's groupthink. You're an individuated soul when you can be in that group and maintain your unique position and your unique perspective despite what other beings say. And I have been put to the test personally where I was in a group situation, which I explain in this groupthink video, and I reacted in a unique way. And I have been tested like that many times. So I believe that I'm an individuated being. I don't really go with the group. Even what I'm putting out here now doesn't go with the group. I've never heard anyone speak on the subject the way that I'm about to. So individuation is based on unique experiences through multiple lifetimes if you choose to believe in past lives. More than likely, if you're watching my channel, you do. Those unique lives and unique experiences make you a unique soul. So I have had astral travel and experiences out of body. And one of the things that I have experienced is I remember what it was like as a soul prior to incarnation. And so that memory is, I was a little fluff ball of light. That's basically how I am when I am in my astral form, is basically a puff ball of light is what I perceive it as. And pre-incarnation, I was with a group that was all like me. We were all the same, except for a unique energy signature. And it's been over lifetimes that eventually those different ones individuated, those in the group, and each one has its own flavor, its own energy, based on the personality it's developed over multiple lifetimes. So we started off in unity consciousness as souls, and we chose to individuate. Edgar Cayce said it best when he said, "The purpose of life is to know thyself as yourself, and yet one with the Creator." And so knowing yourself as yourself is individuation. And there's multiple layers to why we did this. One is so that we could maintain and become a being that is capable of retaining individuality even in a group unity consciousness setting. Another reason is by knowing ourselves completely and being put to the test in incarnations, we can come to know the Creator better because we are made in the form of the Creator on an energetic level. That little poof ball of light is made a smaller version of all that is basically how it works. So individuation is the process of becoming an individual, becoming unique, becoming different from all the other souls that exist, and having a unique history that gives you that unique flavor and identity in the spiritual realm. Unity consciousness is where you feel at one with everything else. You step into the perspective of Creator consciousness is what I would say. People call it unity consciousness, oneness consciousness, Christ consciousness. This is all the same thing. And when you're in that state of oneness, you are expressing love from yourself to everything else. And then you're feeling the love come back in, and there is no division. But you remain an identity. You remain aware that there is an individual, that you are yourself. You are at one with everything and connected to everything, but that individual identity remains. Now, I can explain how and why this happens, and how you can have two states of being at the same time, and how the Creator is in two states of being at the same time. And I'll do that in just a moment. But the best comparison that I can give you when it comes to knowing yourself as yourself, even when a state of oneness, is similar to what it feels like to have a past life regression. Now, I've had past life regressions, and I'm sure that you have probably heard people talk about past life regressions. And in it, you are in the moment. You are in that other life, and you're seeing that life play out. You know all the different details of that life. You know that's you. That's your energy that's in there. But at the same time, it's not the personality that you are at the moment in this life. And so you can see it as two different characters played by the same being. And so when you are in unity consciousness, you are aware that you are one of those characters, and that everybody else is one of those characters, and it's the same being. It's the same feeling. Now, my experiences with unity consciousness predate my experiences with past lives. So I was able to tap into this prior to that. Just to explain that I was not influenced by my past life regression. It's just an easier way of explaining the experience and the feeling of oneness consciousness. So you can be an individuated soul, be unique, and yet experience the oneness consciousness. And the reason why this is possible, and a lot of people, also this answers the question of not just why does suffering exist, but how can the Creator be all that is and yet not suffer, or yet allow suffering to exist? How can something be all that is and then also a multiplicity? So Thomas Campbell really answers this in his book, his Big Toe, Theory of Everything. And he explains that there is the absolute unbounded oneness. That is the void. That is the divine feminine. And that is what you're tapping into when you have unity consciousness. Is you're in that divine feminine receptive mode. That is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's unchanging. That is the divine feminine. The divine masculine is the absolute unbounded multiplicity. That is everything that you see in material existence. And that is the aspect that knows itself through different vehicles. That's why it would be Krishna who gives Arjuna the experience of that multiplicity in the Bhagavad Gita. And that's also how Arjuna can tap into it, is he can see the different forms of Krishna. And the Bhagavad Gita does a beautiful job of describing that multiplicity aspect that all of us have. All of us are in multiplicity because we all have past lives and future lives. And for our higher self, all of this is happening simultaneously. It is not just one experience at a time. It's not like chapters in a book. Each life is not like a chapter in a book. The higher self is experiencing all of them all at once. And when you tap into the higher self and unity consciousness, it starts to cause all the different lives to be in sync with one another. And you're more aware of the multidimensional self that you are when you can work with that higher aspect of yourself. Now, I have met my higher self. I do know my spiritual name in spirit, Quakefire. And I've had these experiences. Again, I don't hear anybody else in the spiritual community describe these. I've heard people describe the Kundalini awakening. And the Kundalini awakening is when the latent energy from the base of your spine rises up through the crown chakra. Now, for me personally, when I worked with my chakras, I had to work from the crown chakra downward and bring the energy to my root chakra. So I kind of did things backwards. I was always able to connect to unity consciousness, and I connected to unity consciousness first through meditation and through the practice of meditation. And then I became aware of the fact that I was a unique individual. I may be more advanced on a soul level than other beings. I have no idea why these experiences have been easy for me to access when they are supposed to be hard for people, and people are supposed to go through a certain process to reach these different states of being. For me, all of it was a desire, an intense desire to know, and a curiosity that propelled me, and synchronicity for reading certain things at certain times that led to the state of consciousness that I am now, which is more integrated with my higher self. Now, my experiences out of body and with my higher self and in astral travel, all of these happened quite a few years ago. Every now and then I'll have an out of body experience now, but I learned a few things from it, and I'll probably do a video on that. But I just wanted to explain once again that you can have unity consciousness and be in that state of bliss, and it is a state of bliss. You can be in that state of bliss and still be individuated. And in fact, it's important that you remain that way, because if unity consciousness acted the way that so many people seem to think it is, we would become the Borg of Star Trek. We would be a hive mind. And that's kind of how we started off when we were souls, and we were all interconnected. And we were a hive mind with the one creator. And that's why we have the illusion of separation in a human body when we are ensouled, when we are in the human body. And the human body is a miraculous gift. To be here is to suffer, because we do on a soul level remember what it was like to be in unity consciousness all the time, to be in contact with the one creator. And it is something very foreign to souls when they are in the body to not have that contact with the one creator that's direct. But it was important that that separation exist, and that is because without that separation we would not become unique beings that could be equal in a companionship to the one creator. Now, I understand that might cause a lot of dissonance in people, the idea that we could become equal to the one creator or the creator. But if you put yourself into the creator's shoes, if you were to create life as we know it, and nothing was capable of being similar to you, it would be very lonely. And the absolute unbounded oneness and the absolute unbounded multiplicity are the two aspects of the one creator. The unbounded oneness is the subconscious, the multiplicity is the consciousness. And so similarly, we were made with a subconscious and a conscious, and it's working with these in this life that we come to know the creator more completely, and we understand the creator more completely without having to be in that unity conscious state. And I believe that it is possible, and that we are going to be able to maintain our identity within the presence of the one creator. And that makes us immensely valuable, because then we can be companions rather than like the angels, who are more compulsions, who act as hive mind with the one creator. And that is what makes humans a little bit above the angels, as they say in the Bible. So you've heard a bunch of my theory here and the explanation of individuation and unity consciousness being able to coexist at the same time, and why they are necessary. to work together, and why unity consciousness does not negate individuality, and individuation does not negate unity consciousness. They are both needed to create a whole and complete being. And without both aspects, you cannot know yourself. And so I'll leave you again with the wise words of Edgar Cayce. The purpose of life is to know yourself as yourself, and yet one with the Creator. It is a beautiful message that you can maintain your individuality in the presence of the one Creator and become a companion to the one Creator. And as for the question, is there something bigger than what created this reality? I believe that there is. In my experiences out of body, I've encountered things that do indicate that there is more. There's a lot. There's infinity out there. There's infinity. So everything that is possible does exist on some level of reality. And it is a beautiful experience to have that perception of reality. So I hope this helps. I hope that you gained some knowledge from this. I will do a video where I explain what I learned from my astral travels and from my higher self. I do think that would benefit others. This is information I don't hear other people sharing, so I feel it's necessary to share it here on this channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed these less academic traveler's notes videos. Bye for now.